We just heard these words from our gospel. You cannot serve both God and mammon. Do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or what you will wear. Do not worry about tomorrow. Mammon is wealth or material possessions. And some people who heard those words long before us thought Jesus was crazy. In fact, they went so far as to call him a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Recently, I read the following. In our time, humanity is experiencing a turning point in its history, as we can see from the advances being made in so many fields. We can only praise the steps being taken to improve people's welfare in areas such as healthcare, education, and communications. At the same time, we have to remember that the majority of our contemporaries are barely living from day to day with dire consequences. One cause of this situation is found in our relationship with money, since we calmly accept its dominion over ourselves and our societies. We have created new idols. The worship of the ancient golden calf has returned in a new and ruthless guise in the idolatry of money and the dictatorship of an impersonal economy lacking a truly human purpose. Who wrote that? Some people would say that Jesus could have easily written that if he was alive right now. But the one who wrote that was Pope Francis in his recent exhortation on the joy of the gospel. As people criticized Jesus for his comments, so there were people who criticized Pope Francis. One popular radio talk show host said, "This is just pure Marxism coming out of the mouth of the Pope. There's no such unfettered capitalism. That doesn't exist anywhere." I'm not sure what rock he lives under. These words of Jesus and Pope Francis are certainly challenging, so much so that they really move us out of our comfort zones. And our first reaction to them is probably not much different from those who heard Jesus or some who reacted to Pope Francis. But are those words really impractical? Or are they simply difficult? Is it really impossible to live that way? With so many things that really should worry us, like things about the environment and the economy and world peace and the threats to that, we worry instead about our food and our clothes and those things that really don't matter much at all. Jesus says today, why worry about those things that don't matter? God will provide for us, just as he provides for the things of nature, and much more so, because we are more important. God will take care of us. Our faith assures us of that. These words from the gospel today are simply a continuation of the Sermon on the Mount that we started reflecting on a few weeks ago. And they follow up on the teachings that Jesus was giving on the traditional commandments, where he said, you have heard it said, but what I say to you is. Jesus today is still calling us to that higher standard, to not do things the way that we have always been used to doing them, to break out of our old habits and to try to live a new life based on trust and faith in God. Today we will leave the Sermon on the Mount behind as we prepare now to move into the Lenten season. And it's really a good transition for us, because Lent will give us time to reflect on the challenges of the gospel and the opportunity to try to simplify our lives through sacrifice and becoming more generous toward others. To not become so concerned about those things that really don't matter. To become, as St. Paul says in our second reading, true servants of Christ and stewards of the mysteries of God.